Welcome into the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us today. Got a laundry list of stuff to get to today. I mean, it's a jam-packed list of things that we're going after today, including some comments by Coach Dabo Swinney that says basically college football is, in his terms, not in a good place. We'll get to that. There are going to be some lines that are moving. What I mean by that is that opt-outs are going to change some of these lines. And if you're a person that likes to place a bet or two, yeah, you're going to have to figure in people moving. And then I read an article and it talked about if we have a Georgia-Alabama matchup in the national championship game, does Georgia have the capability of beating Alabama? We'll get into that too a little bit later on. But I thought I would start with some of the coaching moves that have been happening here in the past day or so. We'll start with Virginia Tech. They've hired Florida State linebackers coach Chris Marve maybe. I think that may be his name. He's been hired as their defensive coordinator. Anthony Poindexter's camp is doing its due diligence, examining the plus and the minuses of the Virginia job. The Penn State co-defensive coordinator and former Virginia superstar appears to be the top candidate, as reported by multiple outlets. Both Poindexter and Virginia athletics director Carla Williams are in Las Vegas this week for his induction into the College Football Hall of Fame and have met to discuss the job left vacant by Bronco Mendenhall, who resigned last week. So there you go. There's that. Everybody, it seems like a lot of folks want to be on Brian Kelly's staff. McNeese State head coach Frank Wilson resigned yesterday to become LSU's associate head coach. He's a guy that can recruit down in that area. So there's that. Already mentioning it on the page over here, Ole Miss, their offensive coordinator Jeff Levy is expected to announce the same spot as Brent Venables' staff at Oklahoma. That's reported by Bruce Feldman of Fox Sports. Of course, he's an Oklahoma alum. With Clemson, this is something that's interesting too. Senior defensive assistant Wes Goodwin is thought to be a strong candidate to be elevated to a coordinator/co-coordinator role to replace Venables up at Clemson. The first thing that came out of everybody's mouth at Clemson was, as far as the fan base goes, is that I hope that they don't promote from within. I don't necessarily know if I'm buying all of that or not. I don't know. We'll have to see about that. Dabo Swinney could, in theory, say, you know what? I'm going to promote Brandon Streeter, your quarterback's coach there, and then I'm going to promote Goodwin to be the guy that runs the defense. What Swinney could do, and I'm not trying to talk for Swinney here, but if I were Dabo Swinney, the first thing that I would do is I have to get ready for this bowl game in a couple of weeks. It's what, 3 weeks from today? Something like that. So I would point blank go out and say, you know what? You guys use this opportunity to get yourself squared away for the bowl game, and then we'll go from there. Anyway, let's take a call, 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. Out to the phones we go. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hello, Rob. It's Bobby and Casey. How are you?
Hey, Bobby, what you got?
I hope you don't mind being corrected right on the air, but Adam Rittenberg put out 30 minutes ago, Anthony Poindexter will be, everything is okay, but I'm going to stay at Penn State.
Well, if that's the case, then Tony Elliott may be getting the job there as the offensive coordinator.
So I'm reading about Tony Elliott. Help me out. Are you speaking of Duke or Virginia? Will he be
Virginia,
moving?
I thought he was in the mix for that too, but because I thought they were going to go with Poindexter at Virginia.
Well, what I've been reading all day on Twitter is Elliott. It's either or. It was kind of looking like where Poindexter was going to move. So I guess it's Elliott's choice to either take Virginia or Duke.
Jason
as a
Garrett,
head coach.
Jason Garrett, the Dallas Cowboys former coach, was also mentioned as possibly going to Duke as well. I don't know how that's going to work.
Well, it's depending on who's put that out on Twitter and what their sources are with both those programs. Because you got a lot of prophets of doom on Twitter, and you got a lot of people that think they're like the beat journalists, but they're not even a journalist. They're a yellow journalist. For those of us who know what that means, meaning they just go with a story and they don't really fact check their facts. I mean, talk to our friend Teddy Hedner about that, who worked at the state for a lot of years.
Yeah, you're right about that, man. You never know until they actually make the announcement.
Until they actually make the jump and they stand in front of the cameras like my buddy Cristobal did and announce themselves. So, I mean, it's just crazy season. I've seen some of your responses on Twitter. Have a good day. Thank you.
Appreciate
Take care.
All right, there you go. So I guess Poindexter staying at Penn State. I think staying at Penn State is a good move, but here's the thing. You're basically telling your alma mater, yeah, I'm getting inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, but I'm not going to take that job there. I mean, does that mean you want to be a defensive coordinator the rest of your life? Or you're just waiting for another job to come open that's a little bit bigger than Virginia? I don't know. We shall see. Blake with a good comment online. LSU starting quarterback Max Johnson announced that he would be transferring. I read somewhere, and I've got it. Oh, right here. This is from 247 Sports, that his brother Jake Johnson decommitted from the Tigers, and they could be a package deal, according to this report, that goes to Florida State. So they could get Max Johnson and Jake Johnson, all part of the Brad Johnson clan there, all of them playing at Florida State. So 247 Sports national analyst and transfer portal insider Chris Hummer says it's not a lock by any means, but the buzz earlier this year was if Max transferred, the brothers could end up going to the same college. Instinct and history say Florida State is the school to watch if that's the case, with their dad, Brad, of course, played quarterback for the Seminoles. And with that, Florida State, he says, could also really use an upgrade, depending on how you feel about Max Johnson versus Jordan Travis at both positions. If the Seminoles can manage to land both, it could be huge for Mike Norvell's momentum in Tallahassee. And by the way, he better get moving quick down there, because in addition to having to deal with Billy Napier at Florida, who knows how to recruit, you're also dealing with Mario Cristobal at Miami, and it seems like they're starting to care about football again, at least on the monetary front. And then, of course, you've got Gus Malzahn at UCF. It's not like he's going to say, you know what, they got these three guys here, I'm going to stop recruiting. Yeah, this is a big deal. With Cristobal going down there and with the moves that Norvell is making. It's a huge deal. And why is it a huge deal? Because if that set of four coaches can help seal off some of the recruits that are down in Florida and keep them in Florida, not necessarily get all of them, but make it a little bit higher of a rate that they actually stay in state, that's going to affect a lot of teams. If you look at Alabama's roster, Georgia's roster, South Carolina's roster, Clemson's roster, they've been going down there and picking Florida and getting a lot of good players. And there's a ton of talent down there anyway. Let's not say that they're not still going to get talent, but it all comes down to who can get the most talent and get them to play together. I get that, but you got to have the big time players to make it happen. And they may end up sealing a lot more of that in the state. But Norvell, if he can get a jump on that quick, man, that's a big deal. Getting both of those young men. And Johnson was a good quarterback for LSU this season. I mean, he really was. He had I can't remember how many 300-yard games, but he was definitely back there turning the knobs for the Tigers. Back out to the phones, 803-978-1832. And welcome into the program. Good afternoon.
Hey, this is David. How you doing?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Hey, I am doing well. Got a question for you I think you'll be able to help me with that I just cannot figure out. And then I'll say some comments after that. Besides Dabo and Nick Saban, are there any coaches currently coaching that have won 2 national championships? Current head coaches?
No, I think that the only coaches that have national titles that are coaching besides those two, Mac Brown and Jimbo Fisher, and there's probably one other that I can't remember, but I do know that those two for sure. I don't think there's one that's won multiple. No.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. So the reason why I bring that up is because I do not want I'm a Clemson fan, and I don't in any way, shape, or form want Dabo to just promote some analyst to defensive coordinator to replace the best defensive coordinator in the game, or even just seldomly without interviewing anybody, just promote Streeter. But I feel like when a guy has won 2 national titles and nobody else has really done that in the game, like, I feel like you have to give a little bit of grace there. I feel like you have to give a little bit. Nobody else does it. It's really difficult to do. Should he have more? Maybe. But what do you think? Do you think when a guy has done this, because it kind of reminds me of Carolina with Spurrier. Spurrier wouldn't always make the best decisions, but the guy was a national championship coach.
Well,
And I've been to him.
look at Sweeney's track record too. I mean, he hired Chad Morris, and Chad Morris came in. They put up great offense. Billy Napier was on the staff at Clemson. You've also got, of course, Brent Venables and Jeff Scott, who's now a coach at South Florida. Maybe Sweeney knows, hey, this is the guy that's going to make it happen. Cal Online says Urban Meyer, but Urban Meyer's not coaching in college anymore. But that's the other guy I think that's living, that's won 2 national titles. But yeah, I think that Sweeney will go through the due process. I know that's a silly term, but I think he'll go through the process. But he may already have in his head, he probably knew mid-season Venables is probably going somewhere at some point because he's just that good of a coach. And as far as Tony Elliott goes, the offense at Clemson hasn't been record-shattering this year, but maybe having a fresh outlook with a new coordinator can revive that Clemson offense a little bit. But I don't know which way Dabo Sweeney is going to go, but he should be given the opportunity to put out there who he wants by his track record and what he's done. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I'm as critical as any, and I think you're right, Rob. All right, you have a good one.
Appreciate it, buddy. Have a great day. Of course, you're welcome to call the program. Jay online telling more lies. Clemson's spiraling out of control. Yeah, no. Clemson's not spiraling out of control. He should worry more about Georgia spiraling out of control. What do I mean by that? Because it's the same thing we have every year. We have the big games where Georgia loses, where they're not playing their SEC league schedule. Then now with the signing period, we won another national title. It's a recruiting national title. Then we have the media that overhypes them again. They go through the regular season where they play teams like Murray State and Mizzou and teams like that. Then they have a great record. Then when it's time to count, they end up falling on their face. Clemson had a season where they won 9 games. I don't think Clemson's going anywhere. But appreciate you joining us there, Jay. He says, normally teams win and coordinators get plucked. Seems everyone's jumping ship. Do you think that other teams aren't losing players? South Carolina lost. Had another 2 from the time we went off the air yesterday. Lakondre White is leaving the program to go to the NFL. And another guy, I've got it in my notes, one of their safeties is also leaving. So we are in the context of a season where coaches are on the move and the transfer portal is there and guys are opting out. So it looks like a lot of players are deciding to move on. Another silly line. Clemson's losing recruits. Big difference. Recruits know what's up. They've got a top 10 class, number 9 in the country, but they're losing recruits. Silly. Come on, man. Do better, man. Do better. 803-978-1832. I don't understand why Georgia fans are so obsessed with Clemson. I mean, Clemson's a better program. They've won more national titles. in the past 5 years than Georgia's won in the past, 40. I guess that bothers them a little bit. Yeah, they've got the overall record. I guess they hang a banner for that down at Sanford Stadium. Maybe they put that up on the hedges down there. We beat Clemson. Maybe that's big with them. I don't know. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. Clemson's lost one recruit since Coach Venables left. Keon Slab was his name. And they're still a top 10 class. Yeah, the wheels are falling off. You know how many teams would love to be where Clemson is right now? A top 10 class, and everybody thinks they're falling off the face of the planet. They win their bowl game. They've won 10 games in a row for like 12 years in a row, but yeah, they're falling off the planet. Yeah, sure. That's falling off the planet for some folks. What a mess the way some people think. There you go. Jay's bringing up the Clemson record against Georgia. You guys got to get a banner for that. I mean, you've got plenty of space down there, right? 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown this afternoon on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Of course, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. Be sure to check out the podcast. It's up at foxsportsradio1400.com. Wherever you get your favorite podcast, you can download it there and listen to the program whenever you want. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. That is the number to dial if you would like to join us here on the Rundown this afternoon on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Blog page is up. We'll have that rolling for you. By the way, I am taking off the week of Christmas, so there will be no Rundown shows that week. I'm going to sit in the house and drink hot chocolate with the daughters. Hopefully it'll be cold enough that we can do that. There you go with that. More of the Rundown when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Thank you, Glenn. I have I think I get 25 days of vacation a year. It's either 20 or 25, I can't remember, and I haven't taken all of it. Yeah, I got to work with Santa Claus and get that squared away. We're going to Gatlinburg this weekend. So yeah. That's a very valid point. Very valid point, Jordan. Coaches come to Clemson to see what Clemson is doing. Yeah, that's how it works. I can't take all of them, man. I don't know, man. I have other things I do around here, so let's see here. It is hot chocolate. That is true. Yo, Fat Boy likes some ham. I do have my Christmas shirt is a picture of, it's got Santa Claus on it. I'll have to tweet out a picture of it. It says, no presents for you, ho. Yeah, I have that. We're renting a house on Verbo. So there's that. I don't know how COVID stuff up. Where is Eric? Where's Eric Twyman at today? He lives in Tennessee. I don't know how like COVID stuff is up there. I got to figure that out. Jeff, what's up, brother? Down from the Low Country. That's where I was born. Was in Charlestown. I am not taking Carolina Jackpot to Gatlinburg with me. I couldn't afford his beer. Nah, Kale's all right. If he wanted to go, we'd stop up there in Simpsonville and pick him up. If he wanted to go. pick his butt up and bring him back. I don't care. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeart Radio app. A couple of more notes before we get into the stuff that I have here about Georgia and the Alabama potential matchup that we may have in the CFP final. Clemson coach Dabo Swinney answered questions ahead of the Tigers Cheez-It Bowl matchup with Iowa State earlier this week, and he said college football is not in a good place for a lot of reasons. There's a lot of change going on, and I think some unintended consequences with that. At the end of the day, we'll figure it all out as we move forward for sure. There's a lot of things in college football right now that I think we'll look back for 4 or 5 years from now, and hopefully those things will settle down a little bit. I don't know if we'll – I think that life is you constantly have to evolve in life, and maybe Swinney had it in his head that, hey, this is how things are going to be, and some of us don't like change, but with that, Swinney ends up with he sounds like he's the old man on the lawn screaming that he doesn't like what's going on. And that's not the way to go. Jay says Kirby Smart has been named the SEC Coach of the Year. Well, congratulations to him. At least Georgia will have one trophy this year. The SEC Coach of the Year is not getting the SEC championship, though. That's going down to Tuscaloosa. Just saying. That's why I wouldn't want Kirby Smart running my program. If I'm all about winning national recruiting titles, he's the guy. Absolutely. But as far as the way that he deals with quarterbacks, the way that he can't win big games, don't want him. Sorry. I want coaches that can actually, take that level of talent and win. 803-978-1832. But do you agree with Dabo Swinney that right now there are a lot of things in college football that are not good, not in a good place? We'll be happy to take your calls on that at 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. Jordan says most kids are entering the transfer portal than are there for roster spots. Lots of kids are going to learn the hard way. Dave Clawson up at Wake Forest is the one coach who came out with this phrase. He called the transfer portal the trash portal. His words, he said, not the kids in it aren't trash. It's just that the situation that they're going into may end up being trash. So there's that. Me personally, I think that a lot of the skill position spots, you're going to have guys that are going to leave. They're going to come and they're going to go. If they don't have the opportunity to play, they're going to move on. 803-978-1832. Go out to the phones. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Yes, could you tell me what is going on with the Clemson Sports Talk show?
Yeah.
Haven't heard it for the last...
Lawton Swan is sick, and once he gets better, he will be back. If you follow him on Twitter, he's keeping you up to date. He's been battling the COVID, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but Swanee is fine. I texted with him yesterday, and Clemson Sports Talk will be back soon. Let's just put it at that. As soon as Swanee is good to go, he will be back and ready to go.
Thank you so much, sir.
No problem, man. You have a great day.
Everyone loves
thank the Swan. Yep, you're right. Everyone loves the Swan. Swan's been out sick. Send some good thoughts the way of the Swan there. And follow his show, Clemson Sports Talk. He'll be happy to interact with you there. Interact with him on Twitter at Clemson Sports. David, of course, says the starting quarterback at LSU is transferring. We talk about that. The guy with the keys to the car saying he wants to drive something else. Yeah. I think that's going to, if he would have stayed, that would have been big news there for Brian Kelly. But Brian Kelly probably doesn't care. Blake asked, why don't I fill in for Swan? Sometimes I do. But to be honest, generally, I try to pour myself into my show, and then I end up being flat on his show. So there's that. And Bible Belt Beauties with the actual great line there. And yeah, I think I've got it. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Of course.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
Yeah, we play that every day when Swanee's here. But Swanee will be back as soon as he is well. So there you go with that. All right, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. One other note. Actually, I got a couple of other notes here. The kids at Hawaii. I've never talked about the reason I'm talking about this on the show today is because I've never talked about the Hawaii football program. But apparently their head coach, Todd Graham, is hated by the teams that are there. There are players in the Hawaii program who've said they want Graham fired, and he has killed our love and passion for football. One player told Mark DeLucci from sfgate.com that Graham insults his players constantly, with several saying that he constantly threatens to take away playing time from anyone who questions him. Another player said Graham told a teammate, stop talking back or I'm going to take away your senior year. Hawaii won 10 games in 2019, did not fare well since he took over. Warriors went 5-4 in his first season. They're now 6-7 this year. They're set to take on Memphis in the Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve. I will be watching that game on Christmas Eve. I'm not going to lie. I may DVR it. We normally watch It's a Wonderful Life. And then I generally have that bowl game, whatever bowl game is on Christmas Eve. We have that up and moving there. David says he could do Tiger talk after me. He knows all about LSU. Wrong Tiger, sir. Wrong Tiger, sir. Blake says, am I the only person kind of interested in watching UAB versus BYU, or will it be a blowout? I think BYU may walk the dog with them, man. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. Anyway, that note, and then I had one other one. Hold on. Oh, yeah, Pittsburgh. We talked about some of the bowl games and how it's impossible to bet on some of these games. Pittsburgh quarterback Kenny Pickett is undecided about playing in the Peach Bowl matchup with Michigan State. Pickett said on Dan Patrick's show today that with the recent news of our team with Coach Whipple, their offensive coordinator and everything, that's something. I just got home yesterday. I didn't have even the chance to talk about it with my parents. I've just been kind of enjoying the season and see some family that I've not been around to see in a long time, but I'll definitely talking about that with my family soon. I would say I'm undecided. Yes, he is undecided. So there's that. I think it's a fair bet to say, you know what? Kenny Pickett's probably not going to play in that bowl against Michigan State. Just saying. Don't go into that if you're going to bet the Peach Bowl thinking, yeah, Pitt's going to run out there with their guy and they're going to run all up and down the field with that Michigan State passing defense that's terrible. Now, see, there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to be like, man, this conference looks bad because they don't have X amount of players playing. If Kenny Pickett plays, they beat Michigan State. If he doesn't, who knows? We'll see. More of the rundown when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Jay, here's the thing. Anybody have like a group text with the family? You know what I'm talking about? Our group text includes, me, the wife, my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, etc. The wife puts into the text message, hey, wouldn't it be cool to go to Gatlinburg to see the Christmas lights? Now, I don't know what kind of Gatlinburg lights that they have. Okay. I don't know, how, maybe somebody's been there. I don't know. But she puts it in the text, and then I'm like, okay. And I just type back, okay. That's all I type. Okay. Then the next day, my mother-in-law made us like hotel reservations. Here you go. This is where we're staying. Wait a minute. I didn't know we were going. What the hell is that all about? And then the wife's like, well, you said okay. I meant okay as in okay, whatever. But one of those things as a husband, I'm not going to try to battle on that. Just going to shut up and go to Tennessee this weekend. So there's that. We're going to go to Tennessee, and we're leaving out on Saturday morning. We'll be back Sunday. We'll stay one night and then go from there. So I don't even know what there is to do in Gatlinburg. No clue. Your guess is as good as mine. But they better have some holiday lights and some Santas running around so the kids can get their fix. Might try that. Oh, I know. My brother-in-law, they have like this, I guess they call it a forgery. Like, we're going to go make knives. I know we're doing that. That's all I know. Might have to try that. I don't know what Uber Gatlinburg is. I will Google that, sir. Thank you there, Mike Leach's Pet Sasquatch. I don't know if I can stomach Dollywood.
Festivals, football, great outdoors. Some people say fall is the best time of the year. It may also be a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
It's time to show your online assistant where you go for a good time. Okay, Google, play Fox Sports Radio 1400 on iHeart.
I'm in trouble then, SEC dog. All right, welcome back into the rundown. Shout out to Bobby and Casey for sending me this stuff and multiple reports. But we will go with Will Vandervoort up with the Clemson Insider. Put out that Anthony Poindexter, of course, basically saying, hey, he's leaving for Penn State. That the Cavaliers head coaching job is very much back in play for Clemson's offensive coordinator. TCI says they spotted Elliott arriving at Oconee County Regional Airport near Clemson at 2:45 p.m. They've confirmed a plane is scheduled to depart for Charlottesville, where Virginia's campus is, at 3:10, which was 25 minutes ago. TCI has also confirmed the same plane came from Las Vegas, where Anthony Poindexter was. Elliott's wife and children accompanied him to the airport, asked for comment upon his arrival. Elliott told TCI he was making the trip for his first in-person interview with the University of Virginia president, Jim Ryan. So he admitted that he was going to interview. Not really admitted. He said he's going to interview. So there's that. So it looks like Tony Elliott is going to be out at Clemson. That's kind of the way that it's looking there. Now, obviously, nothing's etched in stone there, but that's the way that it is, the way that it's looking. So we will see how things are going there with that. So Clemson may have to end up finding a new offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. Get your stuff together, Dabo. That's what you get for Christmas. New defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator. Chop, chop. Anyway, so there's that. If you want to respond to anything we put out there today, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. If you'd like to join us here on The Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400, around the world on the iHeart Radio app. And Mike Online said it seemed like most Clemson fans wanted him gone anyway, as far as with Tony Elliott. And you know what? You got to respect Tony Elliott for the time that he was at Clemson. I mean, they won 2 national titles with him as one of the coordinators there. So that's kind of a big deal. Let's go out to the phones. And welcome to the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, I was seeing if you could give us any more information on the Clemson coordinator hunt on this Wes Goodwin.
Wes Goodwin, of course. Yeah, I read something from ESPN's Chris Lowe that he may be in the mix to be a coordinator or a co-coordinator, is what Chris Lowe put out there. And I don't know if they want to go with the dual coordinator spot there. I don't know how they're going to do it. We'll see how that works out for them up there at Clemson. But it looks like Wes Goodwin may be the guy. And, you know, Sweeney may be going with people that he's comfortable with. You know, he knows what he's got with those guys that are there, and they've been around the culture that's at Clemson, and they understand what's expected. So, yeah, that might be better than going and getting someone that, let's be honest, may have been a coordinator at a school where going to the playoff is expected now.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I thought that Manny Diaz might at least get a call. Not just he's a good coordinator, he's just a really good recruiter too.
Yeah, I believe so. With his ties down to Florida, that's kind of a big deal. But I'm also in the camp that if I'm Manny Diaz, especially after the way that the University of Miami treated him like he was an absolute piece of scum on the bottom of their foot, as they stomped and grinded upon him as they were trying to woo Mario Cristobal into the to come down there. It was like they went to the prom with a prom date. They liked their prom date. They hung out for the majority of the time there, and then another date comes in, and they basically threw themselves at this guy. And you know, it's just disgusting what they did down there. I can't help it. If some Miami fan wants to call me and chastise me for that, I'm fine with it. But it just doesn't look good.
What do you think is going on in Oregon that they can't hold on to the last 2 coaches that they had?
I think that they do a good job of putting good coaches out there. You know, they had what Chip Kelly was great and spent a lot of time there. And then they had, Willie Taggart, right? Taggart was after.
Yeah, Willie Taggart for a year.
Yeah, for a year, and then he moved on. And then they get Cristobal.
Now Cristobal.
And Cristobal's a good coach. I mean, the problem is that these guys get up there and blossom because they're playing in the Pac-12. And the Pac-12 is really, when you really stop and think about it, it's almost at a point where you've got all the funding that Nike can put into you, which is what they've got up there, and you can build your program and play against a Pac-12 schedule. And if you go 10-2, you look like you're a great football team, and everybody thinks you're awesome.
You know, on top of that, but you know, they were talking about Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's not going to go to Oregon because he there is no spotlight there.
What's that?
You know, Lane Kiffin, if he were to go to Oregon, I just don't think he's going to go somewhere that's out of the spotlight. That the Pac-12 is just, a lot of people look at it like it's just a throw along camp.
I think Ole Miss is more of a spotlight than Oregon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. I think it is. I think it's going to be talked about more on ESPN than Oregon.
I think anywhere Lane Kiffin goes, he brings the fire with him.
Yeah, he would.
He reminds me of the Midnight Express for you wrestling folks that are out there.
I know that is. Yeah, Jim Cornette.
Exactly Jim Cornette, the Midnight Express. They could be in a high school gym with 300 people there, and within 20 seconds, they could have everybody hating them back in the day and wanting police called and trying to stab these guys as they're going to beat up the poor old Rock and Roll Express in the middle of the ring there. That's the same way
Jim Cornette's still doing it. Yeah, Jim Cornette's still doing that with his podcast.
Oh, he certainly is. He's not even leaving his house now.
No, yeah.
So, and you know, give Corny a shout out, man. I love Jim Cornette's podcast.
Yeah, I love it too. On Urban Meyer, do you think he will last pass this year. I mean, it seemed like he had a problem with his running back
no,
went on
he's-
TV the other day.
He's due for a heart condition. I think that's what's going to come up. Family issues or a heart condition or
Something.
whatever, something. He'll blame something, and he'll move on, go sit home for a year, and then we may have a Renaissance tour with Urban Meyer, and he may end up going somewhere like Mac Brown did, coming back. I could see that. Not putting Urban Meyer in the same breath as Mac Brown, because Mac Brown has class.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer doesn't. So
How about the Panthers coach? Do you think Rule lasts the season since he,
Well,
just fired his
he fired his
offensive
offensive
coordinator?
coordinator, so he pretty much put them out to,
I mean,
That's
he
kind of a
did it. Said,
scapegoat.
well, we did it because we didn't run the ball. I mean, well, you can't run the ball if Christian McCaffrey's always hurt.
well, and you know what? I got a lot of Panthers fans upset with me because I said Christian McCaffrey is fragile. I said that
They
at the
should
beginning
trade
of the
him.
season. He missed, I think it was 19 out of the 32 games that Rule was the head coach when Rule was the head coach there. So
They should trade him while they could
They
get
should
something
have
for
done.
him right now.
they should have done it.
Yeah.
They should have
All
done it.
right.
You're right. Completely
Thank
agree.
you, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, you have a great day. Thanks a lot.
You too.
All right, take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more for you here on the Rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. SEC Dog, he was on the sideline out there. Apparently, I seen a picture of him in Raiders gear talking to Richard Petty. What kind of nonsense is that? Your defensive coordinator's leaving. Your offensive coordinator's probably leaving. Hey, I'm gonna go to a Las Vegas game, and I'm gonna stand on the sidelines with Richard Petty. Nothing against Richard Petty. Richard Petty's the king, by God. Still the king. Can you imagine some of these NASCAR drivers that are out there now wearing those skinny jeans and, drinking their LaCroix waters and everybody else, eating sushi and tofu in the pits? Richard Petty is, 70 years old now. Anybody know how old Richard Petty is? He got to be 70 years old. Okay. This fool would go out. I say fool, the king would walk into a pit right now and mop the floor with all these guys. None of them could drive. He'd probably break all their fingers, break his fingers, slapping them across the face, get into a car and probably drive them silly. But see, Richard Petty, he knows we're going to race at places like Darlington and Rockingham and Charlotte. And he's 84. Holy crap. All right. He may not slap everybody, but Richard Petty that was back when NASCAR was really cool. Now NASCAR is just a punk sport. It really is. Can't stand NASCAR. Ugh. I miss NASCAR with Rusty Wallace and Dick Trickle. I miss that. That's the NASCAR I miss. Those guys running around and not these guys. See, you done triggered me. SEC Dog triggers me. And I don't think he means to. He couldn't have known how I feel about NASCAR. And every time I see Richard Petty, I'm like, man, NASCAR was great when he was there. Now it's not.
Holiday Lights on the River is back for another festive holiday season at Segundo Shows Park. For a chance to win 2 passes, one for your family and one for someone else. Log on to foxsportsradio1400.com/contests.
Welcome back into the Rundown. The gentleman that I'm introducing now is the #1 Gamecock YouTuber on the planet. Follow him at Carolina Jackpot. I can't recognize his voice on the phone because he sounds like he's more distinguished when he's doing his stuff on YouTube. But when he's on the phone, he sounds like a normal guy. Welcome to the program, Jackpot. What's up, buddy?
Hey, just got on the road and just tuned in, and I made a video on the subject earlier. However, I've not uploaded the gold. Just wondered if you'd discussed Zaquandre White quitting on the Gamecock before the Dukes Mayonnaise Bowl.
I got into it a little bit earlier, but yeah, Zaquandre White is leaving the program. We actually have been talking a little bit about the fact that Tony Elliott is currently in flight to Virginia to interview for that job up there because Anthony Poindexter told him to pound sand. So now,
really,
yep, it seems like Tony Elliott is going to be the second choice at Virginia.
What happened to Poindexter? I thought that was a done deal.
He said that he was weighing the plus and minuses and decided to stay at Penn State.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. He pulled the Bobby Crimmins.
That's what he did. So
anyway, but my thing about Zaquandre is, and it was on Gamecock Twitter last night, absolutely nobody had anything negative to say to the young man. And I really don't either. But my thing is, he wants to get ready for the NFL draft. Look, I agree. He may have NFL heart. I don't know that he's got NFL talent. But you were discussing the other night on the show that Tyler Beatty from Mizzou may opt out of their bowl game, and he didn't opt out.
Right,
he's playing against Army. So I mean, he had twice the amount of yards. You get what I'm saying? I don't know where this is coming from, but I think maybe he's quitting. Maybe he's opting out so Kevin Harris and Marshawn Lloyd can get their chance to eat in the bowl game. That's just what I'm thinking, because it just came out of nowhere.
That's a valid point, sir, but I could also make the argument that if Zaquandre White was the featured back for South Carolina, you might have beat Vanderbilt by more than a point. You might have beaten Kentucky. I think he has the capability, from what I've seen, to actually put some good yardage together. So maybe he's thinking, if I play, I may get into the bowl game and they may not give me a carry. How does that look for my NFL tape, that I don't get carries because there's some issue with the offensive coordinator, which has happened at points this season?
This is true. I mean, from about week 3 till about week 7, he was a member of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Running Backs.
Well, I called him he took the JT Daniels spot on the bench. Basically, lots of talent, but sits on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, it just kind of, I don't know. It's one of those weird situations that it rubbed me the wrong way, but then again, it didn't. And I kind of can understand. And good luck to him anyway, because, I mean, he's such a likable young feller that you can't really fault him for that. But I will tell you that I'd heard smoke that Kevin Harris may not be returning to the program if Marcus Satterfield were retained. And quite honestly, I don't know if Carolina Jackpot's going to return to the program if Marcus Satterfield is retained, because this guy's an utter abomination. I mean, how Shane Beamer could not have fired him the day after the rivalry game, I just don't know.
Well,
at some point,
let me give you this, sir, and just to retort, I don't hold Shane Beamer responsible for that, because that idiot Mike Bobo left him with his hand in the bag, basically, and leaving at the drop of a hat. And he had to just find somebody for that job. So I don't really hold Shane Beamer responsible for that. But I kind of agree with you on the front of, if he's there next season. You made a comment about this on Twitter that made a heck of a lot of sense. Generally, when you have an offense that's as bad as South Carolina's is, where you're like number 106 out of 130 as far as total offense, you don't come back the next year and actually improve. So that's a very valid point. And it shoots my idea down of, he's dealing with Will Muschamp's groceries that he left. Yeah, I get that. But Will Muschamp did leave him for the past five offensive line starters that were there last year, and the returning running back that had the most yards in the SEC. So maybe he didn't leave him a quarterback or some wide receivers, but he had some tools.
Well, yeah, Will Muschamp, he left him with some offensive tools. I dare say that Will Muschamp may be able to coordinate an offense better than Marcus Satterfield. Well, maybe not.
Slow down,
I don't
sir.
know.
People are going to start to think you're drinking early in the day. The Jackpot is not drinking at 3:50 in the afternoon, folks. He's not doing that. Don't get
No,
upset.
definitely not driving down the road between Raleigh and Durham.
Fair
Okay,
enough.
Rob, I'm going to let you go and wrap up the show, and I will see you, or I'll hear with you later this evening.
All right, brother. Have a great day. All right, Carolina Jackpot, #1 Gamecock YouTuber on the planet. Other folks try to imitate him, but they can't. All right, so Jackpot said some things that make a lot of sense. And I have to moonwalk what I said back about Satterfield, where I didn't think it was really fair to kind of hold him accountable for the stuff that happened with as far as recruiting goes. The Gamecocks need some talent on the recruiting end. And I think that Shane Beamer, he knows that. He's not a dummy. Okay? But I don't think that there's a part of me that would like to see what Luke Doty could do if he were completely healthy. I don't think he was 100% all season. I really don't. So there's a part of me that says, hey, let's see what he can do. But Jason Brown, we haven't seen enough of Colton Gauthier. They've got another 4-star quarterback that's in the mix that might be the answer. You never know. But at this point, you're kind of wondering about Satterfield and how that's going to go. And South Carolina, of course, they're playing who they got in their bowl game. They got North Carolina, right? So they're going to go into this with an offense that's been sputtering. And you're not going to have Zakondre White, who, in my opinion, was probably the offensive MVP this season. Maybe Josh Vann. Is Josh Vann going to play? We'll see. I don't know. But with that, going up against that North Carolina offense where Sam Howell says, yes, I'm playing. Ty Chandler is playing. It's going to be a tough out there for the Gamecocks. Here we go. One more call. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Big Barney Ross here.
What's up, brother?
I just wanted to say that I'm going to be opting out. Decided that
Okay.
I'm going to enter myself into the transfer portal from the kitchen to the living room, and I'm just not going to participate in the bowl games. Some of them bowl games, I'm just going to opt out. Everybody else is doing it. I mean, why can't I?
Well,
You know,
you heard Jackpot say he's entering the transfer portal if Marcus Satterfield stays. So Jackpot's in the transfer portal. That's what's going to happen.
Where's he going to go? Where do you
Well, I
think?
mean,
You think he's coming to Kentucky?
No, Jackpot's.
We need a heavyweight.
Jackpot's probably going to Furman or Michigan State, one or the other.
Well,
I could buy that, or maybe Penn State. He'd probably do one of those three.
well, Furman wouldn't be too bad. I don't
Furman
guess.
wouldn't be too bad. Jackpot looked good in the purple.
Yeah,
Who doesn't?
yeah. But I just wanted the fans and everybody in your callers and everybody to know that Big Barney Ross is he's opting out this year, and I will be in the transfer portal.
Well, good luck with that,
I get
sir.
out there. Y'all have a great show.
All right, man. Well, thank you for that. I guess Kentucky finally got him. What a mess. Well, I tell you what, Jay says I should opt out of my fourth meal. You mean second breakfast? Come on, Jay. That's not happening. I'm training for my next powerlifting competition, by the way. I'm working on that. I'm dropping a weight class for that, so I got to drop some pounds, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Folks online wanting Jackpot to join their program. Blake says he should come to Mississippi State. Okay. Fair enough. All right. I appreciate you guys following the show. Stay tuned to Twitter this afternoon at Rob Sounds Good. I will have up everything that I could possibly get on Tony Elliott possibly leaving. He did tell the folks at the airport he was heading to interview at Virginia for his first interview. I didn't get to my story for Alabama and Georgia. What does Georgia have to do to beat Alabama? We'll tell you about that tomorrow. I'll save that for tomorrow. That's what they call a tease, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in tomorrow for that. Appreciate the callers and everybody joining us here on the Rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Hey, you guys are awesome. By the way, let me give Jay a shout out. Jay, post it in the links here, please. Jay sent me a video that I watched like 6 times, and my ADD butt normally doesn't watch anything. Jay sent me a video of just this crazy stereo system. It's about a minute of your time. Jay, post that in the links, please, because I think the folks here would like to see it. It's really good stuff. Jay gives me crap, but I think he's a good guy. I appreciate all of you over there. Mike Leach's Pet Sasquatch. What a great name. Yeah, Jay, make sure you post that in there. Please. It was I was entertained. If I'm entertained, then I know that it'll entertain some other folks. All right, y'all. Jackpot night tonight. So get with that. I didn't say that they wouldn't. I'm just saying, how can Georgia beat them, Justin? Look, until someone does it, I'm not coming off of the Nick Saban train. So Nick Saban, I think I don't see anybody beating him. Not this year anyway. All right, y'all, we'll talk some more tonight. Appreciate y'all as usual. You guys are awesome. We'll see you later on.